I'm Jesse from Motion City Soundtrack, and I'm here at Amoeba Records, and I'm going to go through some of my favorite records that I picked out here at the store and tell you dumb stuff about it. I guess we're going to start with Rocket from the Crypt, Pain as a Fragrance, which I guess it's not a little known fact, but I actually have a Rocket from the Crypt tattoo. I grew up in LA and luckily got to see them play some small shows, Jabberjaw, all over the place, Halloween shows, and actually went to their very last show that they played in San Diego on Halloween. And I actually really like Pain as a Fragrance. I think it's one of their kind of albums that might get looked over, because I think a lot of people think that the sound they ended up with started with Circa Now, but I really think that Pain as a Fragrance is a little more raw, and you can kind of hear that they're trying to find their sound and that they have the idea of what they want to do, but they're not quite there yet, and I think that actually makes it a little more punk rock. It's one of their more punk records that they have. This is an album called Armed Forces by Elvis Costello. Keeping with the theme, I actually also have an Elvis Costello tattoo, but this actually has my favorite Elvis Costello song, which I think most people always go with Radio Radio, but I like What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding, which is the last song on this album, and it is an Elvis Costello song that actually, for the era of this record, sounds a little different than his other stuff. It's a little more smoothed out and almost like croonery than his other stuff that he has on the record. And this record is interesting because it actually has, I think the original cover they had was this bright one, and then on all the CDs and the new records they do the elephants. So I remember as a kid driving around in my father's car, and there's two bands that I love that I probably wouldn't have been introduced to had I not been listening to my dad's music. One is Dire Straits, and then Paul Simon, Graceland. And it's actually one of the few records that I think I can actually sing every word from every song. And I still listen to it to this day. I'd put it on whenever I'm driving, and it just the musicianship and kind of the, he was kind of stretching the boundaries of, I believe, since he was considered a pop singer at the time, and he kind of got this really like African influence sound into it without sounding forced. You know, it still sounds like a natural sound that he was doing brilliantly. Awesome record. Postal Service. This is one that probably I would think most people would know what it is. I remember we were on tour in 2004, and Justin, our singer, had picked up this record, and I was like, Postal Service, what is that? I never heard of it. And he told me, you know, who it was. I believe it's the girl from Rilo Kiley, and then the guy from Death Cab for Cutie. And I believe the story is that they sent songs back and forth to each other, therefore why it's called Postal Service, and created this record. And it's still one of the, like a really good, slightly electronic, slightly pop record that every song is, you kind of just get lost in because they got a lot of sounds and really cool stuff going on. Great record. Couldn't find it on vinyl, sadly, but this is Blur's self-titled album, which came out in the 90s, 97 apparently. And the funny thing about this record was I was a big fan of the albums they had done previously, because I was kind of getting into like a British music phase, and they kind of really did the Britpop thing very heavily originally in their career. And I bought this record the day it came out and was so excited for it, and I actually didn't like it right off the bat. I was kind of confused because after the first two songs, they kind of took this more drony, different sound, and I didn't get it. But I kept listening to it, and now it's one of my absolutely favorite records that they've done. And I believe it's the record where they really started getting weirder and experimenting with a lot of different guitar sounds and some electronic stuff, and kind of starting to expand, which leads to their later records, which are also awesome. Big fan of their entire catalog. So that was 5 of my favorite records, and once again, Jesse from Motion City Soundtrack. And maybe if you want another favorite record, we actually have our new record out called Go. Came out today, which when you watch this will not be today, but we can pretend that it's still release day, and go check it out. Hope you like it.